Hello, my friends. In today's episode, I'm reporting from New York. The background is a little different. I don't have my neon light. I'm in a bathrobe, but we're going to do what we do. I'm K Dash, and welcome back to episode 2 with Convos with K Dash. And today we're talking about the mysterious, often misunderstood, and hilariously human world of introverts and extroverts. We can obviously guess what I am, right? An introvert. Not. That was a joke. Now let's set the stage. Picture this. It's Friday night. The extroverts are out there lighting up the dance floor like me, chatting it up with strangers, of course, and making plans for the next weekend before this one's even over. Meanwhile, you have your extroverts. Well, they perfected the art of goodbyes and are clearly already mentally home, curled up with a good book and a good cup of tea. Two worlds, one planet, and the external question: can an introvert and an extrovert truly ever get along? Well, they absolutely can. And it's often hilarious. But before we dive into that, let's take a closer look at what makes introverts and extroverts really tick. First, the extroverts. These are the folks who gain energy from being around other people. That is me. They're the life of the party. That is K Dash. The social butterflies, the ones who have never met a stranger just because they've been friends before they even spoke. Extroverts, they walk into a room and say, "Here I am." Whereas introverts walk in and say, "Oh, there you are." And speaking of introverts, let's talk about these delightful enigmas. Introverts recharge by spending time alone. They're deep thinkers, good listeners, and often the masterminds behind the hilarious memes you double tap at 2 a.m. They can socialize just fine, but afterwards, they need to retreat their introvert cave to recharge their social batteries. Now, if you're wondering which one you are, here's a little test. Imagine a weekend without no plans. Extroverts, you're probably breaking out into hives just thinking about, what am I going to do? Where's the next function? Where are we going to get lit at? And introverts, you're probably already planning how to spend that glorious, uninterrupted time alone. Am I right? But here's a twist: many of us aren't strictly one or the other. There's a whole spectrum. You might be someone who enjoys socializing, but also needs that precious alone time. Now, let's talk about the workplace. We all have jobs, but surprisingly, introverts and extroverts must coexist. The extroverts are all about open plan offices, brainstorming sessions, team lunches. Meanwhile, the introverts are silently praying for more walls, fewer meetings, their own cubicles, and a quiet corner to work in peace. But the crazy part is we kind of need both. Extroverts bring energy, enthusiasm, and knack for networking. They can really rally up the troops and keep the high morale. Introverts bring focus and an ability to listen. They're the ones who catch the details that others might miss and think through problems with remarkable clarity. So imagine an office without extroverts. Sure, it might be peaceful, but I'd also be a bit boring, like a library where no one's allowed to whisper. And imagine an office without introverts: chaos, noise, and probably a lot of unfinished projects with the extroverts. It's like a rock concert with no backstage crew. So the key is balance. When extroverts and introverts learn to appreciate each other's strength, magic happens. The extroverts get the introverts out of their shell occasionally, and introverts help the extroverts hit that pause button when necessary because we all need it. And let's not forget about the relationships because you know me, I love a good dating topic. An introvert and an extrovert walk into a bar. Sounds like the start of a joke, right? But it can be a match made in heaven, actually. The extrovert plans the fun outings while the introvert knows the best spots for cozy, intimate dinner. And of course, there's going to be challenges. The extrovert wants to go out to every party, while the introvert is wondering if it's socially acceptable to fake a cold for the third time this month. Communication is key, folks. Extroverts, it's okay to go out without your introverted partner. And introverts, it's okay to say, "You go have fun, babe. I'll be recharging." Extroverts, we thrive in a hustle and bustle of parties. family gatherings, and social events. Introverts, you survive it, but fear not, because here's a survival guide. Extroverts, be mindful. If your introvert looks like they're plotting their demise with their eyes, it might be time to head home. Introverts, don't be afraid to carve out alone time, even if it means hiding in the bathroom for a few minutes of peace and breathing exercises. In the end, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, or somewhere in between, remember this: we need each other. It's our differences that make life so much more interesting, our quirks that make us human, and our interactions that make us unforgettable stories. For me, I think a great match would be someone who appreciates my extroverted personality and loves me for me and lets me be me, wild and free, because you all know I can be crazy. But I do need someone that is able to hold their own and not really rely on me and leech on just to mingle, if that makes any sense. So here's a question for all of you guys out there. I'm curious to know if you're in a relationship, whether it's with friends, family, or a partner. What is your personality? An introvert, extrovert? What do you feel like you click most with? An introvert like yourself, or an extrovert like yourself, or the opposite? I'm curious. And for everybody that's married out there or in a long-term relationship, are you opposites? One is an introvert, one is an extrovert. Comment below. I'm curious to know what works for you, what doesn't. Anyways, that's all for today, folks. Short and sweet as I continue my stay here in NYC to enjoy. Thanks for joining. Remember to embrace your unique self and appreciate yourself. The quirks, the awkwardness, the weird self, the uniqueness, and those around you. Remember, be strong and be kind. This is Kay Dash signing out.